personal branding and what benefits do you get, or what are the dynamics of personal branding? Remember, our social media platforms remain James Somba the Legend on Facebook and TLP TV on YouTube. Always on the spheres of life, we make sure that there's transparency, there is objectivity, and there is sanity in the stories that we're making here. And we do this to make sure that you're challenged, to make sure that you have a life, you have a way, and you have a step that you can follow in your life. Remember, when you are here, you have to know that there's no challenge that is above your strength. And we do this because we belong to one another, and we do this because we are family. And tonight on board, we have the same guest who we had last Sunday, and she will help us understand more about personal branding. Welcome to EBN TV, Lilian.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, how was your day?
It was so fun.
Yeah, welcome again. Yeah, so last time we were on the issue of personal branding, and we saw some of the dynamics of personal branding. But before we go far, what we normally do here, we have to be so informative, educative, and again, we have to keep alerting people on what is happening. And maybe a lot of people have not known that we had some elections yesterday for the AUC chairmanship, and we had our Kenyan candidate Raila Odinga, and we saw that he had the ops, our president the same, and let me say a small number of Kenyans had hoped that our candidate Raila Amolo Odinga will clinch the seat. But what we see, it is the opposite of what we expected. What is the impact of his fall or failing to clinch the top seat to us Kenyans?
Well, for me, I actually feel frustrated.
Sorry.
I really was I was number one supporter of Raila Odinga in that particular sector.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, true.
You have to accept, you have to move on.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
So what do you expect for Raila from this time onwards?
He can only move on.
To do what? Ama to bond?
Not to bondo. I never said that.
Yeah.
Not to bondo, but you know, I love his energy.
Yeah.
I love the way he never gives up. I love the way he's a man who will always try again and again and again. So I may not be sure of what he'll do now this time around, but one thing I know for sure is that Raila will do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great, and just we wanted to do that so that people still know that we're still up to date with what is taking place here in Kenya and Africa and even the worldwide at large. So last week we were handling the issue of personal branding, and maybe there is someone who is just watching us now for the first time for this topic. You can just give a definition of what personal branding may mean. And remember, Lilian is health promotion strategist at Metropolitan Hospital, and she'll assist us on understanding what personal branding may mean and what it all entails. Yeah, so for someone new today, what is the definition of personal branding, or what does it entail?
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Personal branding simply means your public-facing identity.
Yeah.
That identity that you create to people about yourself. In other words, it's what goes to the minds of people whenever your name is mentioned, or rather, what is said in the room when you're not present. Yes. Okay.
What are some of the challenges that we find when we want to? You said that it's about what people see us. What are some of the challenges that? Because sometimes I may want to look. There is a picture, or there is a position that I would like people to see me, but I'm not that. What are some of the challenges we face when we're doing personal branding, or when we want to brand ourselves outside there?
One of the greatest challenges that most people face is lack of authenticity, you know, and also lack of specificity. Like you're not sure of what you want to be, and you see, because most people work under the influence of other people. I want to be like Jeff because Jeff seems to be successful. I want to be Lilian because Lilian is known for this or that. You know, lack of that, you know, self-awareness that this is what I want to do with my life. This is what I want people to know me for. Basically, that is the greatest challenge that most people face. Yes.
Okay, and how can someone define their outcome, or even how can they communicate their personal branding?
Before we come to communicating, the first thing you're supposed to do is, as I said earlier, self-awareness is very key when it comes to personal branding. Know your passion, know your strengths, know what you're uniquely made for, know what you're so good at that you don't struggle doing, know what you enjoy doing. Self-awareness is very key. Secondly, as we said last Sunday, the moment you define what you want to do, now after self-awareness, you have to define what you want to do. Now after defining what you want to do, you have to study as much as you can. You have to learn as much as you can about your sphere of influence, like whatever you want us to know you for. After that, now come to the public. Because in as much as you're saying it's personal branding, it's never yours, because it's people who want the value that you carry. Yes.
Okay, and as you've said, still it is not about ourselves, it's about the society.
The public.
And actually, most of the people in the society, the moment they see that you're growing or even you're advancing in what you're doing, sometimes they become so negative and they want to pull you down. What are some of the challenges when you have to put the society or the community or the audience or these people are following you to make sure that your brand is outgrown or even is a flourishing out there in the community?
That's a very good question, and that usually happens in social media. Social media is becoming a current trend. Bullying is becoming a current trend. But I want you to understand that there are things that are within your control and others are way far beyond your control. Social media is like a fertile land which doesn't have fence. Any person can walk in there and do whatever they want. That is social media for you. However, remember we said that it's a fertile ground. You understand that? So you may not have control about what people will say. People will say anyway. The thing is, never take anything personal, because you can never prevent people from saying. If they will say, never take anything personal. And then, in the 48 laws of power, we say there is a law that says always learn how to use your enemies. Before a person comes to your page to criticize you or to drop a negative comment, chances are they've read through what you're trying to do, the information you're trying to send out to the public. So they are working so hard to fight something negative, just one, to bring you down. So take it as a material, like a stone. Build a house with it. Learn. Because chances are whatever they are saying, whatever they are criticizing is something that is real. So learn from whatever they say, improve yourself. But the key here is never take anything personal. Most of it's social media, never take it personal.
Now, what about, because you've said that what they try to criticize may be real, and there is this issue of, it's like you want to defame. There is defaming for realness, and there is a way you can defame. You just want to taint someone's name. You want to discolor what they've been doing for all their life. So there is defamation that is real, and that is based on truth. And defamation that is said on maybe you've just heard some stories from people, and you just want to make sure the story is pasted on the character. And so what if you've said the ground or social media platforms or grounds are fertile grounds. And you've said, now suppose you're not so strong to embrace negativity from majority of people and knowing that they do it to pull you down. What are some of the strategies that you're supposed to use to make sure that your brand is still on top? And maybe, because I say what we normally do is that you do it to make sure that some people benefit from outside yourself. And what you're doing is like you want to benefit people, but there are others who don't want to see that you're benefiting people. So what are the strategies that you can do to make sure that your brand is helping people?
Okay, without having to give up or anything. First, make peace with the fact that in the current world that we are today, social media is very key. Remember, that is why we say it's a fertile ground. Social media is simply like, it's like an elevator which ushers you in to the market that you're looking for. So don't shy away from social media. Last week we said that you have to build your muscles. You really have to build your muscles. Thirdly, you said that there are people who are giving criticism just to bring you down. And I said, do not take anything personal. I also want people to understand that. You know, when you're authentic, when you're real, people will really never bring you down completely. Do you know, Jeff? You can fight me, but you can never fight my results. You never fight facts. So as long as you're real, you're authentic. Well, remember what we said last week?
Yeah.
Negative criticism is like a tree that doesn't have roots. Eventually, it dies off.
Yeah,
So my advice there will be build your muscles, stay strong, don't give up.
Yeah, true.
It's not about what you're going through, it's about whether you achieved it or not.
Or not.
Yes.
And the moment you follow their negativity, they still laugh at you at the same time.
Imagine, at the end of the day, people will always have something to say. So build your muscles.
That is very true.
Stay on. Yeah.
And again, there is a way that as we are catching our way to, or our routes to making sure that our brands are on top, what are some of the effects to our career and to our professions when you're doing personal branding?
The most beautiful thing about personal branding, first of all, is that it helps you to network with people with whom you share the same interest with. It gives you an opportunity to learn from people who are like-minded and to mastermind. So one, it opens doors and opportunities for you. Secondly, you're able to build trust. Both from your employer and from the public, because they know what exactly you're good at. They know what exactly you represent. Yes.
Okay. All right. We still come to another question related to the same, but I know there's someone who may want to know, what does a brand mean? Now, because we've done with personal branding, what does a brand mean?
A brand simply means what you or your company is known for. Simply that.
Okay.
Yes.
Because someone may want to, what does this mean? Okay. Now we've said the advantages or even advantages of you doing your personal branding to your corporate or to your company is that you make trust with people. And again, you find that there are competitors out there who still want to make sure that either you compete at the same level at equilibrium, or even they want to make sure that you don't exist. There's still, like when you go to the business world, you find there is a company that is doing the same thing that another company is doing, or it came to maybe to copy paste what another company has been doing. The company has been there for a very long time. This is still coming. Now, in the pace or even in the race to want, in the time of competition or a race for the two companies, this that has been for the longest time, for the longest time,
the bigger fish.
The bigger fish. What strategies does it ask to carry, or even to make sure that it influences people, or even it still stays on top? It's been there, and sometimes you see, when I see you, I have to learn you. I have to do some surveys so that as I come, as I engage every gear that I have to use to make sure that I compete with you, I have to learn your weakness, I have to learn your strengths, and I also have to learn the business secrets that maybe you have. So as you're still there for that long time, and another one is threatening to go fast you. What are some of the strategies that someone should use or apply to make sure that you still remain sane? Like, for example, aerial and sunlight. I think sunlight is still on top, if I'm not sure.
Okay.
So what can someone do, or a person do to a brand?
Okay, Jeff. First, understand that the illiteracy of the current world is not failing to know how to learn, to read or to write. The illiteracy of the current world is failing to learn and unlearn some other things, because this is simply a very fast-moving world. So you have to keep learning and unlearning some things for you to keep growing. So the first thing you're supposed to do is to keep learning. For example, today, the digital space is having a lot of influence, in the business world. So, and we are actually going the digital way almost in everything. You're having even medical services being mobile. So the first thing that a company is supposed to do is to learn, because you have to keep learning. You have to keep learning. You have to keep knowing this what is now working in the business. This is no longer important. Empower your staff. Learn yourself. If it means that you have digital equipment, do it. So the most important things to do is to ensure that you are up to date with the current trends in business, in market, and in whichever area that you serve. Yes.
Okay. There is always a starting point, as a graph does, and where a graph ends is so different. And At the moment you want to start your brand, you have to be very low. Even if you may be financially able, that is the part of performance of the brand, because it's new in the market, it is new in the eyes of people and ears of the audience or even the consumers at the same time. And now here you have to measure your growth. You have to know how I'm going, or even how am I maximizing my profit and minimizing my expenditures. What are some of the things that you should know or even apply and make sure that you know, or even what are the monitors of your growth in your personal branding or in your personal brand?
Okay, to measure your impact.
Yes.
First of all, whenever you're speaking about personal branding, whenever you brand yourself, you should be able to move closer to your goals. Because remember, before you have a personal brand, at the back of your mind, you must be having a picture of where you want to go.
True.
The first question is, are you moving? Are you moving towards that direction? Because anytime you're stagnating, it means that you're either following the wrong path or you're not paying the price.
Yeah.
First, are you moving towards your goals? Secondly, the feedback you get from people. Because remember we said that it's not about you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's my personal brand, but how do I measure my impact? By the value that I give to the society, to the community. So the second question, the second point is the impact you create to the community. And how you measure the impact is, one, by feedback. Secondly, by the clients that are coming to you.
Yeah.
Yes. And that.
Yeah. Okay.
And thirdly, your growth as a person. Because whenever you're trying to push yourself, growth is always inevitable.
True.
Because you'll face challenges along the way, and it's through challenges and difficulties that you learn. So you're supposed to improve. So if I have a personal brand and I'm still the girl I was 2017, it means that I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, true. And as we said, what are some of the challenges, the channels that you're supposed to have to make sure that the feedback that are sent from the consumers reach you in due time and in the right time? Because remember, there are some people who will not want to receive any feedback, because most of the times people fear change, people fear negativity.
True.
And so what are the channels that our brand should set to make sure that they receive feedbacks and they respond to the consumers directly and the same time? Because again, even if you delay, if at all you delay to your feedbacking to your consumers, it will still show that you're still not up to date with what they expect, because it's all about consumption.
True.
And communication, conversation, and even it's very key, and it is also a product. Yeah. So what are channels? What are the reliable channels for a brand?
First is social media. You can never run away from social media. In as much as you'll be having people dropping negative comments, there is one person who will give you a very honest feedback. So one of them is social media, the Facebook, Twitters, and blah, blah, blah. The other one is email. Email, you're supposed to create an email whereby it's so available to the public that any person can email you. This is what I feel about your company, about this particular stuff, about this particular service. It's very key.
Yeah, true.
And thirdly, we all have phone numbers for offices, for your workplace, which are free to be used by any person. Yes. Okay.
And I think that is someone may try to use and even know, even if feedback is negative, you have to still step on the same and keep on growing.
You have to.
Yeah, that's very great. Yeah. So thank you, our viewers, for watching. This is EBN TV, and this is the Spheres of Life. We have LILIAN Wanjiru. She's a health promotion strategist at Metropolitan Hospital, and what we're doing today is personal branding, part 2 of this SEM. And back to you, there are some brands that maybe you know, or even give us an examples of brands that you know have grown very well, and when it comes to communication or even trying to satisfy their responsibility to the audience or even to their consumers, they've really done it. And even also give us an example of a brand that has failed. And maybe actually the most important thing here is all about communication. A brand that has done to the top, and a brand that's very low in doing what they're supposed to do. Because what we do is we make sure that if it's about personal branding, it's about your brand, it's about your corporate, it's about your company, and by doing so in communication, you are growing in one way or the other.
Okay. Yeah. The first brand I like, it's one for Vusi, the Bukoyo, I think, the South African, you know. He's very good in when it comes to business ideas, business, marketing strategies. I always find myself going to his page for business nuggets and everything. So I like the way he's specific and the way he has polished his skills in what he does. I also love Miles Monroe of the blessed memory. You know, if life coaching was a person, that person could be Miles. I like the way he used. I have a lot of his books. I like the way he puts his ideas, the way he's specific, the way he's authentic. That is what I value most. Authenticity really means a lot to me. Yes, and in terms of business world, of course, Metropolitan is a brand is very key. Okay.
Now, there's someone maybe who does not know what Metropolitan is, I think. By me asking you such a question, I wanted to make sure that you still make awareness of, or create awareness for your facility. So we give a big information of Metropolitan Hospital.
Thank you, Jeff. Metropolitan Hospital is a Level 5 hospital which offers almost all services. We have the best laboratory service, the best theaters. Yes, I think it's the best hospital when it comes to Nairobi as for now. Yes. Okay.
Now, what can you say about your charges in every service that you still
Very affordable.
Give an example of some services that you offer at Metropolitan Hospital.
We have outpatient services, we have consultancy, we have nutrition, we have theater services. Yes, as I said, we have almost all of them. When it comes to our laboratory, we have a Class F lab. It means that we do all tests you can think of. Yes, we receive referrals from almost everywhere. Yes.
Okay, where is it located?
Buruburu, Phase 3, Rabai Road, just opposite to Buruburu Girls.
Okay. Still another question that is still coming from someone. They're asking what the kind of criticism that we face on personal branding, because it is made for the society, for the society's consumption, but you still find that not everyone who is using your product or your services, at the same time you see it's like, now what did so and so think unfailing such a service or unfailing such a thing, or even building such an hospital, something of such a sort. And I think we are still touched on the same, but someone is asking, how are you supposed to do with criticism? Because again, you're not supposed to pick pieces of advice from everyone, or even you're not supposed to consult everyone every time you think of doing or even involving yourself in a certain venture of your life. So how are you supposed to fight back when it comes to criticism in your personal branding?
First, as I said earlier, you're supposed to be positive. Okay, you as an individual, it might be negative criticism, I agree, but you as an individual, learn to take it as positive as you can. Because all said and done, it's just a matter of mindset. How you see things, how you interpret situations, the meaning you give. So learn to take it positive as you can. Secondly, most importantly, to a person who is beginning, as I said last Sunday, it's very important to have a mentor. By the way, having a mentor makes it easy for you, because a mentor has gone before you, so he knows, or he or she knows, that along this way you'll find meanders, along this way you might find a mountain, you know. He as well knows that this way, this road never leads to anywhere. So mentorship is very key. You can never ignore mentorship if you want, you know, growth and at a faster rate. Mentorship is very key. Yes.
Okay. Now I want to start up a business, and I have a vision that my business should grow, or it has to grow within a certain specified time. And I'm looking for a way to make sure that my business booms within a short time, or you have to follow the steps of, or even the process of growth. You don't have to assume that you just grow because it is something that society consumes. So which ways are you supposed to do to make sure that your business, or even your entrepreneurship, or even your entrepreneur or business venture that you want to introduce yourself into, How do you make sure that your brand is known? And or what strategies or what means do you use to make sure, like, you can do, I see some people do celebrity endorsements and such. What are the simplest things for someone to do to make sure that what I'm selling, no matter how cheap it is attracting consumption in a high level?
One, marketing strategy. Most when it comes to products, marketing strategy is very, very important because the same thing I said, it's not about you as a person, in as much as it's personal branding, it's about the public. The same way, even when it comes to company branding, it's not about you, it's about the public. So marketing strategy enables you to get to the market that you want. So do you have a marketing strategy? That's the first question that you're supposed to ask yourself. Marketing strategy is very key. Secondly, empower your team. Someone said that as a vision carrier, you don't really build the vision. You build people, people build the vision. You empower people, people empower, people back your vision. So the team that you're having, the dilemma of every president of any organization, or the CEO of any company, their dilemma, if they were to tell you, is building a compatible team and a team which can work together and mastermind. Anytime you achieve that, be sure to sell. So first of all is marketing strategy. Second, build a team. It's very important. It might be hard, I understand, most when dealing with people, because we all have different personalities, different qualifications, different levels of maturity. But try your best to build a very powerful team. Yes. Thirdly, be specific. We said last Sunday that you cannot be everywhere, you cannot be everything. Human beings are multidimensional, but you can never be multi-exceptional. Be specific, be consistent, and keep it professional. Just a matter of time. It will boom eventually. Yes.
All right. That's great. And we have, what is the cost of professional personal branding, or even you seeking someone to make sure that they set your brand online? And I think there's something we call DIY branding, that is do-it-yourself branding, if I'm not wrong. What is the advantage of professional branding and do-it-yourself branding, or what is the advantage of professional against do-it-yourself branding?
The best thing about professional is, factors like finances. You're able to, they are easily catered for when you're in the professional setup, as compared to when you're doing it alone. Because doing it alone may cost a lot of time, but it's again very important. It's again advantageous in a way because it helps you to be authentic. Yes, because it's you who've done it. It's you. The part of opinions from kando kando. It has been you, and you knew you've known what you wanted right from the beginning. So the advantage of that is that that authenticity bit of it will be very key. The other side, the advantage is the funding and the process might be faster as compared to the other one. Yes.
Now, what about financial facility or financial ability? How disadvantageous is that to personal branding? You may be low in finances, and you want someone to do it professionally for you, the personal branding. How disadvantageous is that, and how long, or even how? Now, suppose you afford the finances for someone to do it professionally for you. How does it grow? How fast does it grow against doing it yourself?
Well, it grows quite fast. Most of when you're using a person who is influential, a person who is a public figure and has been there in the public space for long, you grow quite fast. The only disadvantage comes in when you're using a person who is influential, then along the way they be controversial. Alifanya hivi. That affects your brand as well because you've grown through this person. Then all of a sudden they are saying that he or she stole, he or she did this or that. It affects you indirectly.
True.
Yes.
And now the issue of doing it yourself, the DIY. I know there are a lot of challenges because you have to get a lot of information, maybe for marketing and creating alert and awareness for your product. And after you do it, you find it is not as professional as it was. What is which way can you advise someone to pick? Which way can someone pick? The professional way or doing it yourself? Because you've still given disadvantage of the professional way where you endorse a celebrity to do your marketing or you brand, and later you find there are some scandals, something is becoming controversial over the celebrity. So which way do you advise someone to go as a way or even as desire to make sure that their brand is still growing?
Well, that may depend with the setup. If I'm building myself as Lilian, I'll prefer going the build it yourself, the one that you're doing by yourself. Well, it may take time. I may fail many times, but you see, I'm authentic. At the end of the day, I will win. The journey might be rough, but I'll make it. The other one may still work, but it works well when you're working in a company. Yes. It works well when you're working for a company, because it's most of the time it's companies that, because of the business boom that you spoke about, they want to gain influence and publicity at once. Yes.
And what is the impact of personal branding to leadership and influence?
Good question. Personal branding, as I said, it determines whether people will trust you or not. That is why I said authenticity is very key. When you're authentic, when you're consistent, and most importantly, when you now leaning on the leadership side, when you're a person of values, you're easily able to read your people, and you'll easily be able to win their trust. Yes. That is very key in leadership, and then it gives you an opportunity to get feedback from people, whether positive or negative. Because, by the way, as a leader, one of the aspects of a great leader is a person who doesn't take anything personal. When you're dealing with people, most especially, because tamka na stress yangu, nikikwambia kitu, so will you resign tomorrow? You will not resign tomorrow. So it helps you to get feedback from people and always improve yourself. It works so well in leadership.
And about influence?
Also, influence. Most importantly, when you build trust with people. When you build trust with people, as I said, with the example of Vusi, the South African, he has built himself to a capacity where people will easily go to his pages. Hata kama mimi si mtu wa biashara, asha build hiyo influence so much easily, because he's proven to be a person of value. Yes. If I've trusted you in business wise, I'll not have any problem coming to consult from you issues that are marital, for example, because of who I know you as. Remember, success is about who you are more than what you do. Yes. True.
Okay, remember you're watching EBN TV, the Spheres of Life. The topic is personal branding. We have Lilian Wanjiru, the promotion strategist at Metropolitan Hospital. We have the issue of storytelling in personal branding.
A great one.
From there, we do some of the comments, then we do the final question, then we shall be off for the show tonight.
Okay.
Yes.
Storytelling in personal branding. That is what I like most about personal branding.
Yes.
The aspect of storytelling, it helps you to emotionally connect with your audience, with your people. As long as the story you're telling is true. Don't try to cook up stories, for you to have sympathy from people. No, people don't care that much for information. So storytelling will help you to easily connect with your audience. Or like, for example, now this is not a true story. For example, if I come and tell my audience, when I was starting this, I had a masterminding group who, the people I trusted so much, but along the way, they began to steal from me. Yet I had, yet that money was from loan. Every person in the room will feel it. So they will be like, what next? Well, I almost gave up, but I remembered it's not about them, it's about me. So I had to wake up again, polish the dust, and move on. You see, first, everyone in that room who wanted to give up, they will feel motivated. Secondly, I have made the people, my audience, to feel what I felt. You see that? So in occasion that a similar thing happens to any of them, they'll be able to be like, But this is not new. Lilian was through this before,
Yeah,
and you know she's still doing well. Yes. So it helps you to emotionally connect easily with your audience, with your target market. Yes.
Okay. And what are some of the stories that you doing your storytelling? I think we have different stories in life. And what are some of the captivating stories that you have to give to your audience to make sure that when they're not real, they are making you connect too much to your brand? Because you said the purpose of a brand is for the public consumption.
Let me begin with what you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to bring your personal issues to your brand. Don't come to tell the public that my wife and I had a confrontation tonight. It doesn't help. Don't come to bring your mood swings because you are not paid on time. It doesn't help. The kind of stories that you are supposed to make to tell people is the stories that align with your personal brand, like the struggles you've had before and the success stories that you've had before. And remember the aspect of networking, because it gets to a point where you're able to connect with people who've done what you're doing before. They'll tell you stories of what they themselves went through. So now you can come and tell them, even so and so, now with their consent, of course, went through this and this and this. You understand? Yes, those kind of stories, but keep away personal life. Yes.
Okay.
It does more harm than good.
That's true. All right, we thank you for that response, and we reading your comments, and if you still not send your comment, you can do the same on our social media platforms. Remember, this is EBN TV, the Spheres of Life, personal branding part 2 of the show. So we have Dinah Mwanya, good evening, our host tuned in from Eastlands, Karibu Lilian. With Douglas, we've tuned in. With Douglas again, welcome our guest. With Douglas again, she is our neighbor, welcome again and again. With Ndano Felistus watching live from Kayole, with David Jue tuned in and learning. We have Viona Nzuve tuned in, Vicky K. Mwanya tuned in. We have Ruth Cliff following. We have Ruth Cliff again via EBN TV. We have Simon Peter Odek following on EBN Facebook. Thank you for watching. With Victorious Masingwili tuned in. And we have the last one. It's okay. I think this is trying to comment from where we started the show, and I think it was an opener for the show. Tonight's topic about Raila flattering on clinching the AUC chairmanship. I said it's a loss for Raila, but he has got many lives and will come back bigger and better. And Sarah, blessed, what are the many lives that Raila Odinga has? You can still send her the same to our social media platforms. Thank you for sending in your comments. Remember, again, this is EBN TV, the Spheres of Life. And as we're coming to the final stages of this show, we have one thing that is very key, very important, very vital for someone's brand. And that is the issue of the vitality of consistency and remaining relevant to your brand.
True.
Give us a way, a means, and the modalities that one should use to make sure they still remain tasty to the consumption of their brand products.
The very first thing you're supposed to do, as I said earlier, you're supposed to keep learning. Keep learning, keep improving, always keep up to date with the current trends in whichever area that you serve. Keep running, keep upgrading yourself in whichever way. Secondly is networking. In the realm of success, there is nothing like one. Like one is too small a number to make difference. So learn to connect with the people. You'll always get that particular information that you could never have thought of. You'll always get that particular idea that never ever, and maybe could have never ever crossed your mind. Networking is very key. Thirdly, this seems more of reputation, but consistency. Don't be posting on social media. Social media, you're selling cups. Facebook, you're selling cups. Twitter, you're selling wigs. TikTok, you're doing comedy. Because when you do that, you lose trust from people. It's very important to be consistent. Yes, and most importantly, have values. Avoid unnecessary controversies. Yes.
Okay, we have the issue of introvert and extrovert in personal branding. Who is likely to fail in personal branding?
Well, I'm a perfect example of an introvert. Do I look like a person who can fail in social?
You're still talking from the start of the show, so I don't think that you are an introvert. So unless we move out and try to survey much and dig out on your personal life or social life, so someone may not tell whether you're
an introvert or...
Yes.
Okay, well, it's not about whether you are introverted or extroverted. Remember when you're beginning, I spoke about self-awareness. When I know that I'm an introvert, for example, self-awareness will help me know these are the advantages that comes with it, and these are the disadvantages that comes in with it. Now, I want to go to social media as a person who is introverted. I already know that I may not be that person who is doing videos, speaking. Now, how do I adjust for that? You see that? It's all about my mindset, self-awareness and mindset. I really don't think that your personality should really affect who you become. It might, in a way, when you're not aware. And then again, when you're self-aware, or when you have self-awareness, you're able to kinda structure yourself in a way that your personality will not be so much affected. Like you not have to adjust so much. Yes. So I really will not judge and say that introverts will not make it in personal branding. It doesn't work like that.
And now there is the point where we talked about professional branding and the do-it-yourself branding. Now, when it comes to introverts, do you think if the introverts and they have to do it themselves for the branding, do you think it will work? They're introverts and they're doing the tasks by themselves. They actually have to make sure that they post themselves. They communicate for themselves.
Okay, now that one will depend with what exactly you want. Remember, maybe the challenge of this introvert is posting herself or himself and always speaking. But you see, she might be an introvert, but the branding that she has is market based. You see, it's all about services and products. They will not have to keep posting themselves. Will they succeed? Yes. It's only that we will know them from a product point of view, not from themselves. For example, an introvert may not make a very good Vusi Bebokoyo, but an introvert will make a very good product seller. For example, you may know them through Ariel. You see that? Yes. There is a person definitely behind the scenes pushing Ariel as a product. So you don't know the person, you know the products. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
great.
Depending on which angle you take it.
Good. Yes. And I think we shall come to the end of the show at this time. But before we go, we make sure that you may tell us where giving us full identity of yourself, and even or including where people can find you and the service that you may provide them, and you give your final word for the show. And if you've anything that we feel that you've not touched, you can still kuzia kidogo as we pull down the curtains for the show.
Thank you so much, Jeff. What I want people to know is that there is no person who doesn't have a brand. The thing is, if you don't give people your brand, they will brand you. They'll use the negative aspect of you or what they don't like about you to brand yourself. So it is very important for you to be intentional about it and brand yourself. Let us know you for something. Let us know that if you want something. For example, if I want public speaking services, I may come to you. If I want a life coaching show, I may come to spheres of life. So it's very, very important for you to brand yourself. So the takeaway home for today, the point is, if you don't brand yourself, people will brand you. So brand yourself. I'm LILIAN Wanjiru, as I said, working at Metropolitan Hospital. I'm a health promotion specialist. I do health communications also. And I am an author. I like writing. It's my thing.
That's great. And you still come to tell us what you've written for people to consume from the deep points of you wisdom. So there's something that we've not read. We've got Titus Mbintio live from Pipeline. We have Jackson Kyoko, yes indeed, I need Amanda. And we have Vicky Mwanya live from Eastlands. And I think there is none of your comment that is not read. If it's not read, we still move on and respond to your comments through writing. So we are so thankful for you having followed us from the start of the show until this time. It is a privilege for us to see you watching, for us to see you liking, sending your comments, and even sharing our streams live from EBN TV. So we're thankful, and we know every information and everything that we do here, it becomes so helpful in you live. Remember, if you have a neighbor, if you have a friend, you can still share the same information and they still grow. Personal branding is what we've had tonight, and I think this is the end of the topic, unless we have other bigger stories and other concerns concerning personal branding. If you still a bigger and a deeper concern on the same, we can still do another show at a different time and the same place. So remember, you've been watching the Spheres of Life from EBN TV, and your host Jeff Kimayo. Until next Sunday, we bless your week. We want you to have a great week. If it comes into politics, be safe. If it comes to road safety, be safe. And we bless the works of you. And good night, and have you blessed. Thank you.